Hi, seventh graders. This is Mrs. Stewart, and I'm going to show you how to convert metric units. So let's take a look at the screen up at the top. It says you need to know the following. To be able to convert units, all you need to know are a few things. One, left versus right, so you have to know your right from your left. Counting to 6, that's it, so we're only going to go up to 6. And to be able to move a decimal. So you're going to have to know where a decimal is located in a whole number if you can't see it to begin with. And then you're going to have to be able to know how to move a decimal and how you move them in between numbers. So if we look right here, you see the metric system. Scientists use three basic units of measurement right here. So for volume, the basic one is liter when we're converting units. Mass is going to be grams, and then length is going to be meter. So it's going to be your meter, liter, gram is how I always remember it. Those are going to be our base units today, and then we're going to work with some prefixes to make more units. All right, let's get started. So metric units, first things first, it's super duper easy to use. Once you get the hang of it, you are going to go, whoa, that is really easy. Metric system, the metric system or the International Systems of Units, which we call it as SI, is super easy to use. Okay, scientists around the world always use the metric system, so that way they have a, a language between units that they can talk to or about in a lab, and they can understand one another. The metric system is in base 10. Now you might say, well, so what? Base 10 is great. The reason why base 10 is so wonderful is because it's easy to use. That means all the numbers we're going to use today are going to have zeros in it. So a lot of times we might work with like 10 or 100 or 1,000. So because you are going from one unit to another or converting today, you just have to move the decimal left or right. And the only reason why that works is because the metric system is in a base of 10. It has those zeros on it, so it's very easy to multiply and divide. Therefore, right or left. So we're going to look first at the metric prefixes because we're going to take our base units from the beginning, our liter, gram, meter, and we're going to put prefixes in the front to make alternate or a whole bunch of combinations of different metric units. So let's take a look first. So what we have here is our prefixes, and it's in a stair-step method. Now, you don't have to put it in a stair-step. You could just list all of these in order from left to right and just make sure you put kilo to the left. Okay, so my prefixes are kilo, hecto, deca, then I have my base unit. Another prefix is deci, centi, milli. So here's our awesome base units. And you can see my base unit, gram, liter, and meter, are right smack dab in the middle. Okay? Here is what is super fantastic. If you take any of these beautiful base units, as you see over here, and you hook a prefix on, you can make a whole bunch of combinations of different metric units. So let's take a look. So if I take grams, and I hook kilo in the front, I would have kilograms or kilograms. If I take hecto in grams, I would get hectograms. Decagrams, decigrams, centigrams, milligrams. And you can do this with all the bases. You can take liters and put them on each one of these, and you can create your own beautiful little metric units. So these are our prefixes, and then we have our base units right here. So these are in order from, and I'll put it up on the whiteboard, biggest to smallest. So think of the bottom of the stairs as your smaller units, and as you go up the steps, you're going to get to a larger unit. So you might say, what is this up here, Miss Stewart, this saying? This saying is a saying that I've used with my students before. This is how you can remember this stair step. Like, what if you're doing a test and you have a question on a converting, but you can't remember the stair step? Well, here's an easy way to remember it. To put them in order, you just remember King Henry died. You got to clap. Drinking chocolate milk. Okay, so it goes like this. You ready? I'm going to point to what unit it represents. King Henry died. Here's my clap is my base unit. Drinking chocolate milk. That puts them all in order from biggest to smallest, just in case you need the stair step. On a test or quiz, you can use notes, so just make sure that you have your notes ready and you can actually use the stair step from your notes. So what we're going to do today is we are going to practice going from left to right. So I'm going to write on the whiteboard. Today, we're going to move the left side of our screen is going to be right here. Here's our left. And over here is going to be our right. So let's look one more time. This is my left. This is my right. Okay? So if we look at our arrows, when you're moving up the stairs, you can see that you're moving to the left side of your screen. Makes sense, right? Then when I go down the steps, you can see I'm moving towards the right side of my screen. Okay? So when you're technically moving to the left, when we start doing this, you are technically dividing. But because it's in base of 10, you don't have to get out your calculator. You can just move the decimal. So if you go to the right, you're going to technically multiply. So the only way to understand this, honestly, is to try some. So periodically stop the video if you need to and look at the example one more time how I did it. So we're going to take our time, okay? So let's cover up, I'm going to cover up these two so that way we can just focus on the first one. So here's a practice problem. We have 156 millimeters, okay, gets converted to how many centimeters? Now the first letter in my little unit is going to be my prefix. The last letter is going to be my base unit. So that's how I knew this was milli down here, millimeters. And I know that this one is centimeters because centi starts with a C. Okay, we'll get to the two D's right here momentarily. So I want to go from here on the stair step to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an X on the stair step that I'm going to stop at. Okay? And I'm going to put a circle where I'm starting. So here we go. So if I take my circle, I start on milli right here. And according to my problem, I want to see how many centimeters that is. So I'm going to move up 1. That's where I want to go. Milli to centi is 1. Now, which way did you move? Well, let's label our actual screen. Remember, again, this is the left, this is the right. So because I moved up the stairs, remember, I moved to the left. See how that works? And I moved 1 to the left. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your pencil and you're going to move the decimal 1 place to the left. And I'm going to write that right in there for you. So 1 place to the left. Okay. How about I put move the decimal? Move the decimal 1 place to the left. Okay. That's what we're going to do. Now you might say, Miss Stewart, I see 0 decimals here. Okay, you have to think back. Think, think, think. When you are in math class, if I have a whole number like 156, where is my invisible decimal at, you say? Think. It is at the end. It's going to be right at the 6. Okay, so I'm going to make a little dot so I can move it. So you can kind of see it. So there's my invisible decimal right here, right after the 6. Now, according to my stair step, I need to move the decimal 1 place to the left. Okay? Now remember, the left is this way. Look at where our screen is. So I'm going to take this little dot and I'm going to go 1 place to the left. That means I'm going to move my decimal right smack in between the 6 and the 5. That's one place to the left. So this decimal is going to go right there, right between the 5 and the 6. Okay, so my new answer will be 15.6. So that would mean, let's clear this out. I'll put this over here, down here. 156 millimeters equals 15.6 centimeters. Well, let's check it. Okay, put your finger on this decimal. Okay, it was back here, so I'm going to put my finger where it was. I move one place to the left, right in between the 5 and the 6. That simple. Okay, so what I would like you to do is I'm going to reveal the second one. Okay, and I would like you to try it, but I'm going to set it up for you. So we have 1.75 kg, which is kilogram, to dg. Now you might say, oh, Miss Stewart, which one is dg? Is it deca or deci? Deca is always going to have the abbreviation or the unit abbreviation of dk. Deci is always going to be dc, or not dc, just d, in whatever base unit you have. So we're going to start on kilograms. So I'm going to take my circle, kilo. See, the K is my prefix. I start on kilo, and I want to go to deci. So I'm going to move my X is where I want to stop. So I'm going to stop right here at decigrams. Okay? So we have to figure out how many steps we are going down this time. Because we're going down, we are moving to the right side of our screen, right? All right, here we go. Let's count it. Never count the step you're on. You got to count the step that you're going to go on. You ready? This would be 1 to hecto. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm at 4, my little x. So I move 4 places to the right. So let's write that under there. Move 4 places to the right. Okay, pause the video and see if you can move this decimal 4 places to the right. Now remember what the right is. It's to the right side of our screen, so you're going to go this way. Okay? So pause it. 1.75, let's move it. Okay, so you should be back, hopefully. All right, so we're going to move this little decimal right here. So I'm going to take my pretend decimal that's movable, and I'm going to move it 4. Okay? So let's move it. Ready? 1 will be between the 7 and the 5. So that's 1. And 2 would be at the end of 5. So that's only 2. Now you might say, uh-oh, what happens if I run out of spaces? You got to fill with zeros. So I'm going to go 3, 4. You want to fill with zeros. So my new number is 17500. And now my decimal is at the end. So I'm going to put 0.0 just so you don't need that 0.0. I just want you to see where my decimal ended up. Okay, so let's double check it. It was right here between the 1 and the 7, and I'm going to go 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So your answer is 17,500. And I just put the little 0.0 there so then you can see where it's at. But you don't need it. We can erase it just like this. There you go. All right, try the last one on your own. Pause the video and get it all set up. All right, so hopefully you pause the video so you could try it out. So we're going to start on 9 liters, okay, because I have an L next to it. An L by itself is going to be my liters. A G by itself would be grams, and an M by itself would be meters. And you can see here I'm going to go to DKL. Oh, remember DK is deca. So that's where I'm going to go. So I'm going to grab these, grab my little X marks the spot. Gotta move it, right? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go from liters to deca. Oh, I'm only gonna move one. See? One. Never count the step you're on. Always count the step that you move to as one. So I moved one place, and I went up the stairs, which means I went to the left. So I'm gonna put my arrow like right there, and I'm gonna write, move the decimal one place to the left. That easy. So I'm going to move this over. So now remember where our invisible decimal is. Our invisible decimal for 9 is right at the end, just like our 156 that we did not too long ago. Okay, there's my invisible decimal, and I'm going to go one place to the left. So I got to go right in front of the 9 is where it's going to move. So I'll put my little pencil so you can see there it goes. It's going to go right there. So my answer is going to be 0.9. So let's check it. Okay, the decimal was behind the 9, and I moved it one place to the left. Boop. Goes right in front of the 9, 0.9. Hopefully this is helping you out a little bit. So now we're going to try a little bit of a harder question. What I would do is if you're still struggling, pause the video, rewind it, go back and watch me do it again and again and again so you can get the idea of how to move from one unit to another. Okay, so what if you get a question like this? Oh, wow. Okay, this question is, it's technically, it's not much different than what you did right here in our practice problems. It's just worded a little bit differently. So it says, which of the following is equivalent to 310 grams? So you have some multiple choice answers. Well, this is interesting. And you see that each of these answers has a different unit. We have milligrams, hectograms, kilograms, and centigrams. So the only way that you can figure out this answer is to convert all of these. Yep, every answer. So what I would do is take 310 grams and see how many milligrams it is. If it's the correct answer, then you know it's right. If it's not, cross it off. So let's try it out. We have 310 grams. Okay, so I'm starting on grams, remember? And we'll use a different, let's use an X. I think that'll be easier. There we go. And I want to stop on milligrams. We're going to see if letter A is correct. Okay, so let's move it. So 1, 2, 3. So I move 3 places to the right. Okay, remember we'll label our screen again. This is the left. This is the right. So I moved 3 places to the right. 3 to the right. Okay, well, let's check it. My decimal is behind the 0 right here. Okay, 3 to the right would be 1, 2, 3. Oh, so that means I would have how many zeros after the 31? I'd have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have 2 zeros. Not correct. Okay, my new answer you can see is 3, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. There's 4 zeros in there. Nope, can't be A. Not correct. So then go through each answer and see if they're correct or not. So do the next one. I'm going to delete all of this stuff. Okay, so we have 310 grams, and let's try hectograms. So we're going to start out on grams, and I want to go to hectograms. So we want to figure out how many places we move. We're going to go 1, 2, and I move 2 places to the left of my screen. So I'm going to put 2 to the left, making it a little shorter since we have lack of space. So I went 2 to the left. Okay, so my decimal is behind the 10, or is behind the 0, and I'm going to go 1, 2. So that would mean 310 grams is equal to 3.10 hectograms. Oh, look at this. This answer so far is correct. So I'm going to circle it just so far. Double check all the other ones just to make sure you didn't make a mistake. So let's check out C and D. We're going to go from grams to kilograms. So put my grams down here, my X on kilo. Let's see how many places we move. 1, 2, 3. So I move 3 places to the left. 3 to the left. Left of my screen. We're going to put my little arrow. I always have students put the arrow. A lot of students like that sometimes better. So 3 to the left, I put my little dot here. 1, 2, 3. So the decimal should be in front of the 3. So it should be 0.310. Ooh, not the correct answer. C does not work. Take that off. Okay. All right, let's delete. Next, last one, we're going to go from grams to centigrams. Okay, so we're going to start on grams, and we're going to go to centigrams. Let's see how many we move. 1, 2. We move 2 to the right. 2 to the right. Let's put our little arrow on. There you go. So let's try it out. My decimal is right here to begin with, and I'm going to go 1, 2. You have to fill those with zeros. So my new answer would be, 31,000 centigrams. Is this the correct answer? Nope, I have 3 zeros and this one has 4 zeros. So this is not the correct answer. So you can cross it off. All right, so hopefully you were able to get an idea of maybe possible harder answers that could come up like on a unit test for converting. So we are finished. Watch the video as often as you need so you'll be, I want to make sure that you're better to understand converting metric units. I want you to feel really comfortable with it. And you just have to always remember when you're looking at it, it's in base 10, it's biggest to smallest. Okay, you have to know that this is the left side of my screen and this is the right. So as I move up the stairs, I'm moving to the left of my screen. As I move down the stairs, I'm moving to the right side of my screen. And make sure you know that if you do not see a decimal, like in our 156, that the decimal is technically behind the 6. It's at the end. Start it at the end and then move where you're supposed to go. Hopefully this helped you out. If you have any questions, watch it a few times, look at the notes, and have a wonderful day.